Welcome to Watercolor Studio 42, and today I'm just going to do kind of one of those typical still life, I guess, florals, okay? And I've got the paper ready. I put a false mat around it using masking tape. And also, anytime you want to cut out a vase shape, sometimes I just take a piece of paper, scrap paper, fold it, and just cut one half of a shape, open it up, and you get the other half, and you get it to come out symmetrical. And you can have it with a little lip at the top, or you can tip it upside down and have a straight edge across the top and have a little bit of a curvature for the cup portion of it, the bottom part. Okay, now see what we're going to do here. Now, sometimes I try to do it with one stroke of the brush. And sometimes what you want to have to do ahead of time is just take your marker. In my case, I use a permanent marker, and I start off, and I just kind of try to loosen up a little bit. You know, just work some things around and loosen up. Now, if you're going to do flowers, sometimes I start off. Of course, I think the safest thing to do is start off with a pencil because you can erase it. But you could do the same thing, sketch your picture using a pencil. But again, try to loosen up a little bit before you get going. Okay, just loosen up. Sometimes you can use the side of the pencil. I usually don't use the pencil like draw with it like you would write. If you would write with it, you might pinch it this way, you know, with your thumb and forefinger. But sometimes, like a carpenter, sometimes they'll use the side of the, they'll use the hand over the pencil. And they'll do some markings this way, whichever you find comfortable for you. Sometimes it's kind of a little bit in between when you're sketching. Now, when you're holding onto a brush, try to find the balance of the brush, you know, somewhere in here. Sometimes I put it across my finger to, you know, to get it to where the balance is. Now, the balance here is very close to the ferrule. You may not want to hold the brush down there, so you maybe halfway up here on the handle, and you paint that way. Some people like to paint a little bit tighter. Some people like to paint loose. Myself, I like to start off, when I do a painting, I like to start off with a big brush and end up with a very thin brush. They call these brushes riggers or liners, or here's one here. Yeah, that's more like a rigger, very narrow. Sometimes the hairs on the brush get bent a little bit. I dip it in the water, and you can use soap if you want, and dip it in some soap, a bar of soap. And that kind of straightens it out a little bit, especially if you want it dry that way. It will straighten out. So you might want to loosen up first, right, before you get going. Now, let's see. I guess we got everything. Got my paper towels handy. A lot of people paint, when they paint a lot of times, they paint one hand with the brush, whatever hand you use, right or left, or then you use the other hand for the towels. Okay, now, let's see. I had a little sketch started here. I did it very light. Let's go over it with the marker. Am I loose enough or what? We'll see. See what happens. Now, this is going to be, well, I brought this picture wrong. Black-eyed Susan, but mine may look a little bit more like daisies or something by the time you get through. Okay, so you can start off somewhere from the outside. Let's start in this way. Let's go up and make the cup. Come around, let's see, where do I want to go with this? Over here? That's okay. Now, swing over here off the table. You can come back in, a little loop here. Now the stems, we'll hold off on those a little bit. You just might want to do something that's in the background here. Maybe curtains or whatever it might be, just to break up that background. Okay, something like that. Now, I'm going to put this marker down for a second and go to maybe a smaller one. You can still, you have to use a permanent marker here. That just looks pretty good. Now, I'm going to, with this, I'm just going to put some stems. Now, if you want that to be transparent, you can have the stem show up as it goes down inside. Okay, 1, 2, I always like to do an uneven number, 3, 4, something like that out here. Okay, 4, that's an even number. Let's sneak a 5 in here somewhere, up in there. Okay, there we go. Now, this is up to you, but sometimes I make it like a donut, and you can do this with a pencil first. Just make a circle out here for the center, and then you're going to do a larger circle around that. Start with something like this. Okay? Let's see. Whoa, way up here. Now this one here we can kind of flatten out a little bit. You got another stem here. Okay, we'll put another flower in there. And another, maybe you could do like a bud or something in here. We're going to have some leaves coming out. We're going to have a lot of leaves into here. So I'm just putting them in with the pencil, just to be on the safe side. Okay, now, you can use your marker and make the center. Now, you can make it like little dots if you want, or you can make it like a solid. It can be a solid shape if you want. I'm just going to make this one up with dots. See that one there? See a little bit of that? This one's a little bit on its side, so you see sort of just a flatter shape of that. So I'm putting that in. Now, if you want to put some petals on this, you can, depending on how many you want. Now, I usually start off north, east, west, and south, and then I finish it off in the middle like this. Go around like this. This way, something like that. They don't have to, every petal doesn't have to look the same, okay? Something like that. Then same way with this one. Start somewhere out from the center. Swing out around. Now I'm used to doing this, so I sort of don't have to go north, south, east, and west with the line. But if you want, you can. Here you go. And then we're going to show more of the center. Over here, we'll sneak one in down here. This is off over and back. You might not see all of that. Then we'll come around here. You do another one. You can do this if you want, zigzag. So zigzag, I guess. Okay, here we go. Maybe some leaves. Put some leaves in there. Okay, now if you sketch it kind of loose, that means you can kind of paint it kind of loose when you're working on it. All right. Let's put the stems down in there. Just a little bit more. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So somewhere, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, looks like 5 to me. Okay, now we can decide how much more drawing you want to do to this. You can show some texture of the table if you'd like, or whatever. But what I normally do now is I decide what I want to do for the background color. And blue is always safe to use, okay? So let's start off with some blue. I use a tube watercolor. You can buy the pan, dry pan watercolors. Probably the dry pan is safer if you're traveling, and whatever the container is you have bumps around a little bit. Probably dry pan watercolors would be safer than the tube. The tubes might, rupture or whatever, break, and you have a mess over everything. Okay, we got some of that. Now, I usually start off with a big brush. I got a couple of large ones. These are, looks like that's a 1/8. This could be a 3/4. We'll use a 3/4. Okay, now if you want, you can wet the paper. If you want a little bit. And you don't have to be too fussy when you wet the paper. Now, because you're using permanent ink, well, I can go over it without it smudging. See? Paint the water. Now, if that was regular ink, it would be kind of smudging like crazy. Okay. I don't know how far I want to go with that blue, but we'll see. We'll keep it sort of light. Add a little bit more water to it. Anytime you want to, with watercolor, if you want it to go lighter, you don't have to add white paint into it. Just dilute it down with water. Okay, we just go around, dash around in here a bit. Okay, yeah, you might want to leave that lighter and let the paint go kind of settle in off the edges. See how it works? So you don't touch it. You don't keep wiggling the brush around it too much. Just let that go a bit. Okay. You want to get the edge here so you have a contrast between the tape and the where you put the color in. Now, if you want to add another color into this background, sometimes you can get away with possibly a little bit of, no, I was going to say green, but what else we got here? Let's be brave about it. Let's try some red. Oh yeah. Let's see. That's a bright red. I want maybe this. This has a little bit of blue tint to it. This particular red. So you may want to clean your brush off and take a little bit of the red, mix it in one of the wells, put the blue into it. You want to take a piece of paper and test the color. It's a scrap of any old thing just to see what it looks like. That's not too bad. not too bad. So we'll try some of that in there, see what's going to happen. Okay, repeat it over here. Whoops. Yeah. Yeah, I hold the brush about halfway. Okay, got some over here. You can put a little bit in, little dashes of it. You can let it blend in with the blue in places. Yeah. Now, there's always room for touch-up. You can always touch up your paper if you want to. You can, like if I thought that has too much water there, it takes too long to dry or something, I just blot it. Just pick it up with a paper towel. If you hit it soon enough, you can almost take all the paint off like that. See how you can bring the white back if you want. Like, yeah, that's starting to dry in, so it makes it a little harder to do that. Now, you can think about this if you want, what else you want to do with it. Now, you might want to show that if this is clear glass, you'll probably see a little bit of background showing through that. You know, whatever's out there. Let's put a little bit of dash of blue into that. Yeah, you might see something like that. Okay, now, sometimes if I have plenty of time, I can let that dry, and I can be doing something else. Sometimes I do maybe one or two, well, obviously one, but sometimes I do 2 or 3 pictures at a time, depending on, you know, whatever the subject might be. Sometimes you might want to make a diptych, 2 paintings that have similarities of not only subject material, but also texture and color and whatnot. And then you might do a triptych, which is a series of 3 paintings that are similar. They have the same ingredients maybe that go with them, whatever, color-wise, texture, subject matter, you know, that type of thing. Okay, now, let's see what else. I don't know. I'm going to try something else on this table part. I'm going to see if I can put some brown or something into that. Just a pinch, right? Just a pinch. And you can use a smaller brush for that if you want. I got a small one out here. Yeah, one of these is fine. Now, you can take a pinch of that. I would thin that down quite a bit. I would lighten it up quite a bit. Okay. See what we got. Let's test it on scrap paper. A little piece of scrap. That's still kind of dark. See if we can lighten it up a bit. Add some more water. And that's lighter. Okay, well, let's try a little bit into the table, okay, just for the fun of it. See what happens. I don't know if he picked up some texture of the wood of the table, but whatever it might be. Now, if I've used that color here, let's go right along the bottom edge here. Blend it in a bit. There you go. Now, if I use that color, maybe I might want to use it somewhere up in here, or over in here, or you might want to use it somewhere over here. Whatever. Now with watercolor, you can always wet it and move the color around, or you wet it and you can blot it. If you think that's too heavy, you blot it out. That's one way to take it out. But you have to sometimes catch it before. You want to catch it sometimes before it gets too ingrained into the paper. Okay, or canvas, whatever you would be working on. Okay. Get that? There you go. It's not too bad. Okay, now we can come back into here and let's see. Well, I'm thinking about it, maybe a little bit there, so it looks like we're looking through the glass a bit. Okay, yeah. All right, now the next thing we want to do is think about what we want to do with the stems. Once you get to the stems later on a little bit, this rigger is a good brush for stems. Nice narrow brush. And we'll be doing some leaves too. All right? Talking about leaves. Now what I do sometimes, if I'm not crazy about the shade of green that I have, sometimes you get a green that's sort of a little bit, sort of a wild bluish green type of thing. And so what I do a lot of time, I take some of my yellow, you can use gambos or any of the other types, shades of yellow, I should say, and put a little bit out. And we're going to see if we can do something with that. Now, see what we can work. Well, I suppose we could try it. We'll take this shade of green and we'll put that in this well next door. And let's take that brush I had again. Here we go, yes it is. And we're going to take a little bit of yellow and put it over here. Going to take a little bit of the green. Ooh, that makes a nice shade, doesn't it? That's a nice shade of green. And that would be good, you know, when you start doing some stems, filling it in. I've tried to get this thing to go out to a point, somewhat. You can put a lot in, you can put a lot of leaves in there. That came out pretty good shape. Okay, let's see. Yeah, a little bit more up in here. Okay, have something going over the edge. Bring that out, lift up, give it more of a point to it. Okay, that's a nice shade of green. Now, I've got some, I use some Payne's Gray a lot of times, and I use that if I want to, let's say, shade a color down. Here it is here. I'll set that up there for now. In the meantime, we're letting some of this dry and seeing what we can do else. Now, you may want the petal to show up a little bit more against the background. So what I do a lot of times is take some of this green that I have and put a little darker color into it. And we can make up something. Yeah, it looks pretty good over here. And we can do something else with that. Now, with the yellow, you might want to just take a little pinch, just a little pinch of red, and put that in there. Take that color here. Okay. Want to get a sort of more of a little bit of more of an orange shade. Take a pinch of red. Let's see if I can find another palette underneath here. Take a little bit of that, and you can take a little bit of yellow. And what I'm trying to do is get maybe a little bit of orange, but that's not working as well. And it's sort of not really yellow yet. Let's put a little bit more red. What I'm trying to do is get the orange. I don't know how that orange would work. Not bad. Get some of those centers in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, that many, yeah, not bad. Okay, we'll let that dry out. Now, I think I want to get back and do a little bit of the stems. We can use some of this color here. Usually the stems can be a little bit different color. A little bit more of a dried out color. Yeah. Something like that. Get some color in there. Okay. Take some of that, put it down into the dish. Now, see what else we can do. You might want to bring out a little bit more contrast. You want the petals to jump out a little bit more. So I may take, let's see, another brush. Another one, sort of a, yeah, that's a better, it has a point to it. They call it a round brush. And what I'm going to do there, just put a little darker shade into it. And see if I can go kind of in and around some of the petals. Now what we want to do is take that and sort of pull that back out. Soften it out. It's a little bit fussy around some of these shapes. See what we do here. Okay, it gives it a little bit more color. Give it a little blot here and there. Yeah, you may want to do something with give the petals a little bit more contrast. We can make it more of a greenish color too in there. And give it a little bit more contrast. So what I'm doing here is just, looks like I'm just kind of dabbling around here and sort of filling in a little bit. Let me get back some of that red again, a little bit. Okay. Ooh, that's a little bit bright, huh? Well, just touch it up a bit. Yeah. Give it a little bit more blue. These could be other little plants and flowers that's kind of in between, kind of filling in the empty space. Yeah. I'm going to erase some of this up in here, blend it out. Okay, take some of the edge off of that and soften it out. Now you can hit it with a little bit of pink. It doesn't hurt. Break this up a little bit. There we go. Okay. Now, it's getting a little bit heavy in through here, so sometimes I blot it out so that I got a lot of white in there. And maybe we can go around this flower in here. You know, you see a bouquet sometimes, they kind of get the flowers a little bit too tight. Okay. So it's just a matter of how much texture you want to put in here, how much, extra you want to do to it. Now, that's a little bit droopy over here, a little bit on the heavier side. So I'm just going to kind of counterbalance that a little bit and put something a little darker on this side. And maybe take some of this out, wiggle some of the color out of it, lighten that up. Go up into here. Give a little bit more texture. Okay, now you'll find as you go along sometimes you have to kind of do a little touch up. And guess what? I bring my white acrylic along. Now, white acrylic is great. You put a little bit on your palette. You don't need much. And that's where, let's say, for example, you say, oh, well, somewhere in here I got too much. That's where the white acrylic comes in. You just take some little dabs of that, and you can take some of that heavy busyness out of there. And you can also put back, let's say if you got too much paint on a petal, you can touch it up with the white. So I always bring my white with me, just in case I have to touch something up. Something, you know, whatever you want to do with it. If you want to make this, you can take that whole side out if you want. But if this is too heavy here, just cut into it a little bit. You can take some of the white out, or some of the green out, sorry. Here we go. So the white acrylic is for touch-up. Whatever you want to touch up, you can. Now, this is up to you how much else you want to do to this. You could put some yellow, a little bit of yellow, some specks in there. Put some of that back. You know, it kind of gives it a little bit more highlight. Now, if the background looks a little bit coming on too much, you can soften that out also. Let's say, for example, I felt this was too heavy here, right? Take your white. You can take some of that line down. You can take the whole line out if you want. Just hit it like this. Kind of make it disappear. Anything you want to break up. If this looks kind of funny here, you can take some of that out. Just hit it with the white. See how you can take the line out? Over here you got a little dab. You don't want that to be there. Just hit it with the white. Now, you can do a lot of erasing with the white acrylic. They do have a Chinese white, but it's not quite as strong. It doesn't cover quite as opaque. You sometimes can still see the other darker color coming through it. So you have to be careful on that. Now, this is up to you. If you want to put a little bit of shading on the petals themselves, it's a little bit of fussy work, but you can do that. But again, you have to be careful that you don't get carried away with too much of that shadow. You know, just put a little, a little bit on the petals. A little bit, sprinkle. Yep, you can sprinkle that around. And if that gets a little bit too much, go back to your white acrylic. Let's say this got a little bit heavy here. Just hit it with a white. You can break it up a bit. Something like that. You can take it out, whatever you want to do. So, a lot of people worry about watercolor. They say, oh, once you put it down, it's, you can't adjust it or erase it or whatever. And it's not forgiving. And it is forgiving. If some of these edges are too heavy, or if you want to make them a little bit thicker, that's all right. But the only trouble is, I'm afraid sometimes some of these lines that you put in probably are distracting, and they might take away from your painting. So what I do, a lot of times, I'll take And if, let's say this is too much, I'll just take it out. You can take the whole thing out if you want. You just hide it a little bit. Same way over here. Just gets a little bit heavy. You can hide it. Just take that line. This looks kind of funny now. So you might want to take the whole, not show too much of it at all. So you can hide that if you want. So there's a lot you can do. Sometimes if you want to let the lines show through, just put some water on your brush and you can go over that. There's still some paint on your brush, so, but you can soften the line out a bit if you don't want it on there. Okay? Yeah. See what else. Now sometimes I put a little object, something on the table besides just a vase of flowers. Some people take they get the flowers, but they also put something around it, you know, like maybe the cards that they get along with the bouquet. This looks kind of funny, doesn't it? It's kind of floating out here. Okay. So anyway, I'm going to take some of that out. Maybe soften it over here down. Break that up a bit. Yeah, you can soften things out a little bit. I probably got carried away with too heavy a line there to begin with. But I'm run out of some of that. Put a little bit more white out. It's starting to turn grayish. There you go. Some of the paint out of the brush. Then when you come back, you can hit that. Break it up a bit, or take it out completely, like I did up here. Just take it right out of there. There you go. It still shows a little bit. Take some of that out. Take some of this out. Break it up a little bit more. So by the time you finish, you can do an awful lot else to your picture. And what you can also do is take like a marker. A lot of times you have to make sure you rinse your brush out good, because sometimes that acrylic paint dries in the brush, it's hard to clean it if you don't catch it soon enough. Now, let's see. I don't know. I was thinking of a cast shadow on the table. You might get like a shadow coming across. Something like this. You have something on the table, like a shadow. Yeah, that may help that. I'm not sure. You just have to be careful with the color you just have it soften out. There we go, like that. Okay. Do all sorts of things in there. This looks like it's out of place. So, having said that, you can take that out. So, what I'm saying is that you can always salvage an area. If you don't like it, you can hit it with white. Sometimes you can blot it out. If you catch it soon enough, you get most of it picked up. That noise you hear is my phone in my pocket. Okay. Now, that looks kind of funny in there. Here you got these heavy lines, and everything's soft up through here. So let that dry, and then you can come back with one of your markers, and you can outline that a little stronger in places, so you make the flowers come alive. What's happening now is you got the table and the vase outlined so that they're taking too much of your attention away. So what you have to do is come back in here and just strengthen the flower up a bit so it counteracts the vase and the table. So those are things that you have to keep in mind when you're doing a painting. Now, I was having some fun with this. I was just kind of working kind of loose with it. But sometimes you can look at this and see if you can make something out of it. Let's see. How about this being a baseball bat? I'm thinking of baseball here. Hey, those Red Sox are doing good lately. Pretty good. And make the player. Well, sometimes they have that protector over the ear. His baseball cap. See how you can get a player out of this thing? I don't know what he could be doing, holding the bat up to his head or what. Yeah, that could be a towel. It looks, sometimes they're sweating. He dry themselves off. So, let's say show part of his number, maybe number 15, something like that. And you can convert this into a baseball player. Take some of you use paint. You use hat. Okay. Now, if it's a Red Sox, it's got to have a little red on his uniform. Maybe it's the numbers, I don't know. Maybe something on the sleeve. Okay. All right. I tried to make that orange. It didn't go too good. You put some in there for his face, maybe his hand. These could be some of the fans up in the crowd here. I don't know about that one. show part of their what they might be wearing, huh? Red Sox fans, right? Okay. Well, that could be a towel. It could be a baseball bat. It could be a bat. So you can find pictures sometimes in just Scribble, and it's good to stimulate your visual imagination. That you can move it around, turn it around, look at it different ways. I don't know if that could be a bird, his beak or whatever. I don't know. That could be a little cartoon. Somebody with glasses or whatever. Eyes. Let's put some eyes in. Let's see. Something like that. Over here. Like a duck, huh? Like a duck. And he could be wearing a cap. Whatever. Duckman. Looks like somebody that works on the railroad, like a conductor or something. Not really though. So you can sort of work around these things and make something out of it. Yep. Yeah. Add some color in the background, whatnot. So it's interesting what you can do with some of these pictures. I don't know. Here's back to the ball player. This is one of the duck fans, I guess. I don't know. And so whatnot. But you can have some fun with that. A lot of times use up some of the paint you have left over. Sometimes these pictures come out better than what you originally intended to do. That happens a lot. Okay. Now, the idea of all of this was to make the mat. I don't know, but this tape's been on here for a while, so it might be a little bit hard removing. Yeah, can be. Can be a little bit tough. There we go. Get some of that down there. All right. Now, usually the mat makes it, or the frame, but in this case, I'm not sure. I think I left the tape on this one too long. It dries out, and then when it dries out, it gets hard to pull it off. Yeah, it really sticks. You have to find a loose end somewhere. I don't know. Maybe, nope, not really. It takes a little bit longer than what I anticipated here. But you get the idea. No, caught a little bit of it. You have to pick at this a little bit more just to get the rest of it. Now, if if I had put the tape on like today or before I got here, I wouldn't have this problem. But what happens is it dries out. So a little bit more picky, but you get the idea. You have that mat around it, false mat. So anyways, I think I've run out of time, so brushes up and we'll see you next time. Take care.